Hi, folks. I'm Alyx Matchett, the College and Financial Aid Advisor here at PALCS. I'm joined here by Zealan Turner, the Director of Communications, and
This is Winging It.
So my role here is involving helping the juniors and seniors figure out what they want to do after they leave PALCS.
How did you get into that, even with the last company that you worked for?
Well, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life after I graduated. I had a teaching degree. I could go into the classroom. I was thinking about grad school. I was thinking about maybe just doing something completely different because I had student taught. And I couldn't see myself being a teacher for 20 years. Like, I knew that it wasn't going to be a sustainable career for me. And so my supervisor from the Millersville tour guide team, he was like, hey, there's this really cool program called the College Advising Corps. It's run out of Franklin and Marshall College, which is down the street from Millersville. The purpose of the College Advising Corps is to bring in recent college graduates and place them in settings with a lot of high populations of first-generation or low-income college students to help them increase the rates of going to college. And PALCS had started the partnership with the College Advising Corps in 2019. I really hit the ground running and started developing programming here at PALCS, and I did it for 2 years. My contract was up. I was talking to Siobhan, who's the supervisor of school counseling here. I was like, how do I keep doing this? Because I got to keep doing this. I love it so much.
What about it do you love? Like, we don't all love work or showing up to work every single day, but you do sound pretty inspired. So what are the little snacks that you get to eat that keep you motivated?
Yeah, I just love helping students. I get a lot of joy just in helping them figure out what they want to do and how they're going to reach their goals, and opening doors for them and helping them figure out what the possibilities are so that they can make that kind of informed decision. You know, you tap a kid on the shoulder and have you ever considered college before? Maybe they haven't. And to be able to open those doors of opportunity for students to see if they want to go, or be the first person to tell them that I think that they could get into college, or even talking to them about other pathways that aren't related to college. Maybe everyone in their life has been telling them that they have to do one thing, and they maybe are really passionate about maybe tattooing, and everyone in their life says that they can't do a career out of that. But there are really cool opportunities, say, in even the medical field for tattooing. It doesn't have to be a standard tattoo artist. I remember the first time I told someone that they could be a tattoo artist. They were like, oh my gosh. Like, that was just really eye-opening to have someone as an adult tell them that they could do something that they enjoyed instead of something that maybe they've been told their whole life. One of my favorite things to help students figure out is, what do you care about and why do you care about it? You know, why does it matter to you so much? And that can really spark some interesting conversations with kids, because if the first time that they're reflecting on their life is senior year of high school and the things that they like and what that might lead to, you know, maybe we could do that a little bit earlier, so that they're not freaking out at the start of senior year when they have to apply to colleges or everyone's asking them what they're doing next and they're not sure.
Do you feel that that's problematic to have the goal be like, I'm doing all of these things just to get into college? Or do you think it's a means to an end that, hey, now you've done these things and now you've actually grown as a person along the way?
Yeah, I think it can be a really mix of both. There are certainly benefits of having students be involved, and obviously volunteering is great for so many different reasons, but having students only think about things in the light of doing this for college, it can be really damaging to their mental health, for example. Like, if they're only doing something because it's going to look good on an application in a year and a half or 2 years, that can just be an easy way to burn out. I always try to encourage students just to follow and do something every week that, you know, brings you joy, not just something for an application. It's not so much about your academic profile when you're at the level of especially some of our honors and AP students, because everyone else in that applicant pool
is the standard. That's the baseline.
Standard. So you have to be able to talk about activities that you're doing and volunteer work that you have or impact that you have in your community for these highly selective admissions. But at the end of the day, when students are setting themselves up all throughout high school to have a really competitive profile, they have this tunnel vision, right, of trying to get to a really good school. And sometimes that even involves shutting the door on less selective colleges maybe it's a really good fit for you, but it's not in your radar because you have like a just eye of the tiger trying to go for these name brand schools. Colleges That Change Lives organization really helps students to understand the different types of colleges that are out there, maybe some smaller colleges that have less selective admissions, but have really great opportunities for students on their campus. Financial aid opportunities to support students from low-income backgrounds, internship opportunities for students to connect with their communities and get work experience. So yeah, Google Colleges That Change Lives for some other ideas of some colleges if you're thinking about building your list.
If someone comes to you and says, hey, I'm a senior in high school and I don't know what I want to do.
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do when, graduation is 180 days away?
If a student has absolutely no idea and they're motivated to maybe do a little bit of reflective thinking, I try to gauge that in the beginning of our sessions of like, do you want to really like get into this, or do you just want me to list off some jobs? Because there's, different types of students that I'll work with who are really interested in figuring out what they care about and why it matters. So I'll give them some exercises for brainstorming. I want to know maybe a little bit more about them, what kinds of things that they like to do. Sometimes I'll ask students what their superpower is, or like what's something that you spend a lot of time doing. Like, why do you spend a lot of time doing that? So those types of reflective questions can give me a lot of ideas for maybe some career paths that they might be interested in. I try to emphasize that just because you have a skill that you're able to do and you're good at doesn't mean that you have to pursue that if you don't enjoy it. And so when students come to me and say that they're really good at getting on computers and coding or something like that, maybe they tell me eventually that they just don't, they're not interested in it that much, but they just have to have a lot of experience doing it because it just happened to be that way. In that space, I can also try to poke some other holes in that. Like, where else might you spend your time if you weren't doing XYZ, or if you have a lot of family responsibilities and you don't have time to do extracurriculars? What's the perfect world? Like, what kinds of things would you be interested in?
Sometimes college isn't a good fit. What would be some qualifiers that would make you start to think that perhaps?
I would say first it's the student's drive, if they're interested in going to college or not. And if they're not sure if it's going to be a good fit for them, I talk to them about their, how they handle classes at PALCS. I think that our PALCS classes really set you up very well for a college level schedule, right? And a traditional brick and mortar school, you're in class every day, being corralled from class to class with a bell. And at PALCS, you have to log in, you have to go to your course on Canvas, and you have to go to the virtual lesson once or twice a week, very similar to a college schedule. I'm going to ask them probably how they handle that type of schedule, maybe look at their grades.
I think starting college with an undeclared major is a waste of time, maybe an indication that you should be taking a gap year, or perhaps just an opportunity to explore some courses and continue this exploration.
One college nearby here, Swarthmore, actually does something similar to that, where they don't count the grades that you get and you earn for your first semester, to encourage that exploration of different classes and different subjects, areas that you may not already be familiar with. Say Millersville, where I went, if you enter undeclared, you're put into, they call it an exploratory major, and you're able to take classes in really any subject. So you still earn your general education credits that you need to graduate for a 4-year degree at a liberal arts college, and you're not as restricted. So for students who think that they would like to explore and take advantage of classes in different disciplines, work with different professors, I think it could be a great option.
You had an incredible number of statistics for students that you helped advise last year for college and career readiness, for scholarships. Do you remember any of those bragging points? Even just like a general range, how many colleges we kind of were looking at, or do you feel like it was across the country, or is everyone kind of staying closer to home these days?
But we did have some really cool places around the world. We had one student go to the University of Munich in Germany, mostly on the East Coast. We have some students going over to the West Coast, but not as many. And we had, I think, reported about $5 million in scholarships, which is cool. I think that students don't report all the scholarships that they get. The average number of applications that students were sending out was about 5. We had some students who sent out a lot more than that. But those are of the students who send out at least one. Most of them were about 5. We got a lot of Penn State students, Drexel, Westchester, over at University of Pittsburgh as well on the other side of the state. So we've got some awesome students. We also have a few, we have one going to Harvard. I think 2 are going to Juilliard. Really, really great class.
I feel like the price of college is going up and up and up. Do you feel like there are enough scholarships out there to help alleviate some of that pain? Or do you feel like we're really approaching a point of crisis where we're like, listen, kids aren't going to be able to afford to go to college, whether they're motivated or not?
Yeah, I mean, both. I mean, there is a lot of money left on the table. Statistics say that I think last year there was something like $2 million left on the table for scholarships in the state of Pennsylvania. The reality is there's tons of scholarships that people don't apply to because they're not willing to write an essay. A lot of students will not go through and submit the applications if there's a 500-word essay or even a 200-word essay. And I'm trying to get them to do that. $500 here, $500 there, $1,000 here. Those smaller scholarships do add up. And so that's where the money is adding, that $2 million left on the table. Students don't apply to the $250 scholarships, the $500 scholarships. Students can reuse these scholarship essays. They're like, you don't have to spend every single essay starting fresh if it's the same topic. Just write it, copy and paste it into several applications. I mean, there are some schools that offer great financial aid, especially for families from lower income backgrounds. A lot of schools have committed to families that make less than $75,000 a year will not have any loans as part of their financial aid package for a couple of really great colleges. So they'll meet a lot of the need that a student is demonstrating without having to put them in debt, which is really, really cool. I know that Lehigh University is one of them, Swarthmore.
I also wish I had known about an opportunity to, I don't know, say go to community college for 2 years, knock out a bunch of your credits for literal pennies. And then, hey, if you want to go to a name brand college after that, do you know how much easier it is, first of all, to get in after you put in 2 years at a community college, and how much money you've saved? Yeah,
especially for students who maybe didn't have the opportunities or we'll even say willpower to earn really good grades freshman and sophomore year. Maybe something happened where their GPA was tanked because of whatever factor. That's very difficult to get into a name brand college, for example, or even some of the state schools with, say, below a 2.0 GPA. And if you start at community college and you earn 12 credits or 4 classes one semester, that's already you're considered a transfer student. So your GPA starts fresh with the grades that you've earned in college. So that can be a great pathway to starting out at another school if you start with the community. Really, it has to be student-centered, the whole process.
But also to just have this conversation and the awareness. Is it worth the money? Is it worth the debt?
It's so much about awareness. And that's where I feel like the focal point of my job is awareness, so that students can make an informed decision with their own values in mind. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I don't want to tell you that this school is better than this school, or you'd be a better fit at this school than this school. Like, all about that student who's waking up every day on that college campus, and I want to keep them at the center of it.
I feel like you're really helping students take that first big step towards, their independence and their first big kind of task in adulting and stepping out of, I just keep picturing a nest.
Yeah, I mean, here we are, the PALCS Eagle's nest, I guess.
Okay, that was not even intentional.
It works.
That was definitely my mom vibes coming out again.
The PALCS really does prepare students for the coursework. And I had a student who from the class of 2023 who stepped foot on the Westchester campus for the first time in public brick and mortar school since 7th grade. They felt really well prepared to actually do the classwork and keep up with it, and shifting to online classes while they were sick, no problem.
Right.
I think that they did felt really pretty prepared to leave the nest of PALCS to tackle college level coursework.
What is a word phrase or sequence that reads the same forward and backward?
A palindrome.
Yes! Okay. I got way too excited. I was like, yes, that's what that is. According to the U.S. Constitution, the president is part of which of the 3 branches of government?
Executive.
Okay. You're crushing it. And I'm trying not to take this personally. What is the process of water turning into vapor called?
Water turning into vapor, I guess. Evaporation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just had this enlightened moment where I was like, because it's evaporation.
Yes, there we go. I was like, photosynthesis. No, that's not right.
Our middle school teachers are cringing right now. What is the process of a caterpillar turning into a butterfly?
Metamorphosis.
Yes, and I feel that really ties into our college
Vibes.
conversation, right?
Yes.
Like our little caterpillars. Are
Love
just
that.
Oh, that's amazing. What is the hardest mineral?
Diamond?
Yeah. I wouldn't have thought that was a mineral, but I mean, I'm here for it. What is the plural form of the word deer?
Deer.
Yeah. I was like, before I even looked at the answer, I was like, is it deers? Is that?
Nope.
Can I
Deer.
say deers?
Yeah.
Deers. Nope, it is deer. Thank you so much, Alyx. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for telling us all about what you do. You are definitely should be wearing a cape, first of all. The way that you just offer your heart, your soul, your wisdom, all of your information. I feel like you're really helping our students take that big first step out of the nest, the PALCS nest, their home nest, their family nest, their into the big, scary adult world.
It is scary out here, unfortunately, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, I hope that the students and families that I interact with know that I just love this stuff. And it's so much fun to be able to help students. I love reading the essays. Like everything that I loved about teaching, I get to still do, you know, advising and making things relevant for students and reading essays and enhancing applications and just talking to them about what they're excited about and why it matters is just really what keeps me going. So it's a lot of fun.
Stephanoides.
I'm sorry, what?
Stephanonatus.
That wasn't helpful.
Stephanoides.
Definitely don't think that's right.
That's not right.
Stephanoides coronatus.
Stephanoides?
There's like an
Is there a
M in
huh?
there.
Like an H thrown in there? Stephanoides?
Hi, Stephen.
So maybe this should be Stephanie. Stephanoides. Right?
Stephanie Ahides.